This build I'm going to show you actually gave me a migraine. Hi, I'm Vidaray, and I'm a small content creator aiming to be the best at every Minecraft skill possible. And what better way to get better at building than by joining the most competitive, dangerous, life-threatening, and high-stakes competition to ever exist. Nah, I'm just kidding. This build competition I joined was actually very laid back, cozy, and wholesome. But I still managed to make it stressful somehow. So in this video, I'm going to go over what this build is, how I built it, and I want to show you the transformation I did because I'm very proud of it. For context, this competition was hosted by the content creator Iva in her Discord. The theme was to create some sort of home, habitat, or any type of shelter for the animals during the winter. The judging categories were creativity and uniqueness, beauty of the build, and story behind the build. A fun aspect to the specific build competition was that in addition to submitting a build, we actually had to write a short story too. This made me nervous at first because I'm not used to sharing my writing, but once I had my lore and plot in mind, I was actually super excited to see it unfold. My execution with both the build and story was probably the most worrisome part. The competition was announced 2 weeks before Christmas Eve when the submissions were due, which sounds like plenty of time to enjoy myself, build something for fun without any stress, right? Yeah, no, I was busy leading up to the due date and only started the night before. So I had to cram everything within like 12 hours, but I wasn't gonna let that stop me because I really wanted to make this build regardless. The main idea for the build was to combine a traditional snow globe with the Minecraft enchantment table. I came up with this idea because I was already brainstorming ideas with the intention of doing a holiday creative building video, but I opted to specifically build it for this competition and it was actually quite convenient. All I had to do was make the interior suitable for the animals, instead of going for the traditional snowy snow globe interior. For the base, it was fairly simple because I was recreating the enchantment table. To add some texture to the obsidian, I used coal blocks for the darker tone and blackstone for the lighter tone. For diamonds, I went with diamond blocks, light blue wool, and quartz for the highlight. For the red cloth, at first I tried unsaturated red blocks like mangrove and netherrack because I thought I would try to go for some realism, but I mean it's a big enchantment table so that was not the right direction. The saturated blocks like concrete and wool turned out to be better for the overall feel. One of the biggest challenges for me at least was working with the space we were given. It was a 15 by 15 block area, but I am just a naturally big builder, so it was just hard for me to picture what I could do. I was even worried if I could fit a dome or even decorate on a small scale. The shape and proportions were my biggest focuses in the beginning, so I was playing around with the size of the table, diamonds, and red cloth a bunch. After finishing the base, I wanted to include the snow globe stand where the snow globe would rest when it is not floating. I thought it'd be really cool if I could tie in the enchantment book cover into the build. I used spruce as well as some orange and yellow concrete to illustrate that connection. I struggled with the shape of the stand so much. It didn't have the best silhouette from any perspective, and at some point I didn't want to spend too much time trying to perfect it since I still had so much to do, so I left it as is. In my transformation, I improved it drastically though. Now for the snow globe, let's just say Minecraft is truly a block game, and you are not meant to build spheres easily in this game. And it's my fault because I wanted to freehand it, which was a complete mistake. I tried to start from the bottom and work my way up, but that caused so many problems, and it didn't help that it was like midnight. Once I started using my brain and planned out the radius first, it was finally starting to form. And it turned out alright. I was just happy that it fit within the given space and matched the proportions of the base. By the end of the night, I actually had something that resembled what I envisioned, and it just needed those final details and decorations. But oh boy, little did I know I left the hardest parts for last. With a few hours before the submission deadline, I still had some ideas left over to finish. To give this build this magical vibe and tie in the lore I had planned, I wanted to add this lapis lazuli effect hovering the globe, acting as if the snow globe was floating because of this magical power. The issue was that I left no additional space to add the effect the way I wanted to, so I had to adapt and place the lapis lazuli as best as I could to give off a similar feel. At this rate, I just had to make do with whatever I had because I only had an hour left. The interior was a blur, and I ended up not recording much because I wanted to lock in for the remaining time. I created some terrain and foliage, I made a small custom Christmas tree, I added so many details and decorations to fill in the space, and I had to spawn in animals that I decided to name tag too. The pressure was on and I was cranking out this interior as fast as possible, and I still had my story to write. I thankfully had it outlined and everything, but I ended up having to revise my story because it was too long. I was doing everything I possibly could to submit on time, but unfortunately, it was to no avail. It was an hour past the deadline. I submitted not expecting much, and I was ready to lie down. I was honestly just happy that I finished the build. It was really important to me that I finish what I started and actually follow through with what I said I was going to do, because I'm someone who has so many ideas, but they have all been lost with time because I didn't even start or commit. So overall, I was pretty proud at this point. But to my surprise, and about a week later, I got this lovely message announcing that I had earned a top 3 placement for my build. Yes, she excused my lateness and had so many nice things to say about my build, so I managed to earn myself a nice reward from Iba along with all the other participants. It was so sweet and kind of her to do that for her community, so huge shout out to her. Alright, we are here in my creative world because I want to take a closer look at the build. And I still have to show you guys the transformation I did as well as the story I wrote. But before we do that, I just want to take a closer look at this build. I'm really proud of it, and I don't know, there's just so many fun details that I included that you probably won't notice. Like in here, the little Easter egg number 1. This sort of ties in with the lore I wrote with the story, and it says, "Give me the strength of diamonds so that I can embed this obsidian with all my might. Sincerely, Lady Lapis." If I had enough time, I'd probably decorate even more in here. It was just something simple and fast. But in the transformation, I definitely give it a full interior. Alright, let's head back out. And we're going to go inside the little globe. And the second Easter egg that I included was these animals are all name tagged like members of the Discord. So I thought that was a pretty nice touch. So here's a few, and then here's Iba, of course. But yeah, all these little guys should be named someone after someone. But we just have some basic foliage in here. We have a little pond area. We have like the Christmas presents. These used to be with the Christmas texture pack. They used to be presents. But unfortunately, it's not. It's the middle of July when I'm doing this. Over here with the classic cookies and milk, and then I just have a picnic blanket with some cake, as well as a little campfire over here. But yeah, it's pretty cozy in here, especially with all the particles and animals. And one of my favorite tricks I used was using the bell as a star. You can't really place it on leaves, so I just used a glass pane to hang it on top. And from far away, you can't even tell the glass pane is there. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this build. Even though I did have a few issues, like the snow globe stand and the lapis lazuli effect didn't really turn out the way I imagined. And I wish I had more space to do a better interior than this. But honestly, I'm pretty happy with what we managed to do. And I don't know, it just has this cool, like, mystical and mysterious and magical vibe to it. So I really love it. Since I knew I could do a little better, I made a little transformation, and it's directly behind me. I'm going to keep on flying back to see if we get closer to it, hopefully, so I can reveal it to you guys. Alright, I've hit the tree line, and now I'm going to show you the transformation. Oh my gosh, isn't it so cool? Yeah, I scaled it up a ton, but I just needed to add in those details. And look at the snow globe stand, look at that shape. Like, that just looks 10 times better than what we were in this little flat piece over here. So I think it's a pretty big improvement. And just like the lapis lazuli effects, just, oh my gosh, let's get a closer look at these. Like, there's just so much more movement, and just, oh, it just feels so magical. Like, it's just so, I don't know. This is a really good angle too over here. Oh my gosh, I'm actually speechless with this. And once again, the silhouette of this snow globe stand is so, I just love it. It like feels like it really does just sit in there really nicely. And if we step back a little further and just walk through, and just the way it opens up, oh my gosh, I just love that feeling. I gotta do it again. I'm just in love with this build. It's so cool. And the way it sets in the middle of the forest. By the way, I hand planted these because I'm not really an Axiom or World Edit user. So yeah, these are all bone meal, but it was definitely worth it. And yeah, it just sits in the middle of this field, so it's just so majestic. Yeah, let's just keep going around. Let's just keep taking the view, I guess. Oh my goodness, this is so awesome. Aren't we loving Christmas in July? Okay, I'm gonna take a closer look at the stand too. I don't know, this shape is it just feels way better. And yeah, these little wisps of like magical power around the globe. Oh my gosh, I just love the shape. I don't know, it just turned out so well. And since this dome is bigger, I actually have way more room to do an interior. So if we hop on in, here we go. We can close this. Oh, there we go. We have a bigger Christmas tree. I guess I could have put way more foliage up there, but it didn't look right outside looking in. So I think I just did a little touch of them. We also have way more animals. There's bees. I have like this little like bird cages. There's allays, pigs. There's some cats, sheep. Oh my gosh, way more foliage. Like there's melons here, way more flowers. Here's a little like campfire setup with chairs this time. Oh, I just realized I left my anvil in here when I... Are they all named? Oh, they're all just named Steve. This is the dome of Steve. That's funny. Everyone's just named Steve. Oh yeah, and we have this little dog. That's pretty cute. And this little fountain, I guess. That's a little more dynamic than the previous dome. And yeah, there's just way more room for activities. I guess the other one felt a little more cozier because it was like way more closed in, but I don't hate this vibe. I guess if you're down here, you're kind of in the mix of everything. Yes, hello Steve. I hope you like the home. And you too, Steve. I hope you enjoy. And you as well, Steve. You look very cute today. Oh my gosh, Steve is trying to escape. What are we doing, Steve? Steve, please. Oh no. Or if we go inside the enchantment table through the center, we can see the newly transformed interior. It has this centerpiece as well as like these like parts stretching from the diamonds. It's like all connected and everything. And yeah, it just has this little mysterious vibe to it. And then in this book, I think I just wrote the same thing, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So just something simple right now. And just, yeah, just a little nice detail. Alright, that was my competition build as well as my transformation. And I haven't even revealed the name of this build yet. So I present to you the story of the Enchanted Snow Globe. Greetings, traveler. You've stumbled upon the Enchanted Snow Globe, a mystical structure deep within the woods that sits in the open snowfields. It is known to protect the local woodland critters and offers them a space of warmth and festive cheer during the cold months. With its long history, the origins of its supernatural abilities have been lost with time. But legends say the Enchanted Snow Globe is powered every winter by a spirit that suffered from a disastrous yet noble fate. Her name was Lady Lapis, and she was an important guest to the family throne of the Villager Kingdom. Although she more often spent her days in the Commonwealth areas, and everyone always recognized her beautiful blue hair. She lived in harmony with its citizens. Her main duty was to grant magical powers and enhance their tools and weapons, allowing them to enrich their crops and support their city. However, the future heir started to make hasty and rash decisions, with desires to conquer other lands. He wanted to abuse her magic and create dangerous weapons. Lady Lapis knew she couldn't let her powers fall into the wrong hands. At dawn, and despite the fact that this was her only home she ever knew, she was gone without a trace. Lady Lapis found peace in the woods with her new animal friends. However, the outside world was still on the hunt for her, and one day, they attacked. The forest was overwhelmed by pillagers, armed with crossbows, pitchforks, and fire. She used her piercing attacks to fight them off, and casted her windburst to try and extinguish the flames. But the damage was done. Lady Lapis thought to herself, how could she fail to save her original home, as well as her new one? Her last act was to restore the land with her mending abilities, costing her to live as a spirit forever. The Enchanted Snow Globe is a beacon of hope, light, and safety, despite the difficult and trying times one might face. And you, traveler, have had the honor to witness its wondrous beauty this winter.